going on, homies? It's your boy Stumped back for the OPTC video, and in today's video we're doing our endgame tier list to wrap up 2023, moving into 2024. And I haven't done one of these in actually a hot minute. I think the last time we did one of these tier lists was after the Gear 5 celebration. So for some reason I skipped half Annie, well not half Annie, but like, you know, the globe, the Shanks and Gear 5 stuff. But don't stress, because we got a big shake-up for this tier list. If you guys haven't tuned into this tier list before, if you're new to the game, make sure to go check out some of the other tier lists, because in today's video, we're prioritizing the big endgame stuff of PvP, Treasure Map, and Kazuna 10-star Super Boss. Also, now being PKA. PKA has actually become a big one, because end-of-month banners, no one should really be summoning on. If you want to summon, I'm not going to hold it against you. If you like a character, spend your gems. But honestly, any unit that isn't or is on a ticket and isn't a Super Suga or an exclusive legend, I would not be chasing. So we like to do these at the end of every single big celebration. And with New Year's wrapping up and the Super Boss coming to an end, I thought now would be the best time to do it. Now, I'm not including Lilith, I'm not including Bonnie, because obviously we haven't had too much time with their super stacking attack and whatever buffs. But with Egghead just around the corner, there should be a lot of really, really cool stuff. And if you enjoy this kind of stuff, belt the like button, hit the subscribe button, do all that good stuff. Remember, this is just my personal opinion for playing the game for like 7 to 8 goddamn long years. If you guys agree, let me know in the comment section below. If you disagree, let me know down there below as well, because I do like to have a conversation about this kind of stuff. But just remember that all the tiers are there for a reason. Hopefully it helps you guys prioritize what characters to level up. With that said, let's dive in. January 2024, baby. Alright, so this is last month's, well, not last month's, this is the last tier list for the endgame tier list. And we're going to do a big shake-up here, a huge shake-up here, before we start touching on some of the other characters in this particular tier list. Because if we scroll all the way down here, you guys will see that there's a lot of characters that we need to add to the tier list. A lot of characters. But this bottom tier is the never going to use tier. You're pretty much never going to use these characters for whatever particular reason. They might have a use somewhere, but look, they're really not that crazy. There are some changes that I'm definitely making down below here from what I can already see. Support tier, like these particular characters are pretty much only used as support for your accounts. So max out their support levels and then leave them there. As for the next two tiers, we've got the Grand Voyage tier. Now, Grand Voyage obviously is an end game mode. So these particular characters you either really need for Grand Voyage, like these characters here, or characters that are sort of options now with the evolving content and the evolving power creep, I should say. Next, we've got the PvP tiers. These are the PvP Beta and the PvP Ultra tiers. Obviously, some of the characters in the higher tiers are very good in PvP too, because PvP is a huge factor in today's tier list. But remember, this is just all subjective. These are just really, really good characters that work exceptionally on your PvP teams. Next, we've got the Treasure Map Speedsters. If you're looking for speed farming teams, these particular characters are very, very good. Then we've got niche characters that kind of do something that no other character does. They've been very good for particular pieces of content. Next, we've got Super Subs. You're only ever seeing these characters as subs, never really as captains, ever. But they're just still very, very good characters. Then we make our way up into Amazing and Meta. Now, Amazing characters are all very, very good. I would highly recommend leveling up all these characters. Meta is like the best of the best of what's going on right now. And then we have the top 5 straight up the top here. And straight off the bat, I'm going to change this to a top 10. I think top 5, there's not enough going on in this top tier to make it a top 5. So, like, let's make it a top 10. And straight away, I'm going to bring this to the forefront right here. I think Gear 5 jumped Nami quite a while ago. Whether you guys have the tier list like this, or whether you have the tier list like this, I think for endgame, talking Super Boss, Kazuna, and damage, you're always looking at this character. When you're looking at PKA, though, like, this character, like, takes the preference, and Grand Party, PvP, this particular Gear 5 is just better. So, I definitely want to put the Luffy's at the forefront there, but look, we have a lot of characters to put on this tier list, so let's see what happens. As for the meta tier, I do want to make some big changes here as well. Some characters that have moved out of the meta, definitely looking at moving X-Drake down to a super sub. If you're using X-Drake, you're only ever using him as a sub nowadays, and that's probably under something like Rush Kaido. Toki's never really been run as a captain anymore, whilst Toki's very, very good. Most of the time, you're using her in Treasure Map. Next, we've got CatDog. Both of these are Treasure Map Speedster characters, but both of them are exceptionally good in Grand Voyage as well. So, I find Cat Viper works better in Treasure Map, where Dogstorm kind of works better in Grand Voyage, and really nowadays that's what you're using them for. And speed farming endgame content, really, or like not endgame content. Kid, honestly for me, Kid has dropped off the planet. He's a very, very, very good unit, but like you kind of have to go out of your way to use him, and the only place as an endgame player you're going to use him is in Grand Voyage or in PvP. I think Kid is an exceptionally good PvP character, and you can definitely use him on your int-driven team. So that's where I'm actually going to put him, because I think he works amazing there. The niche category I do want to like bring down, but what I want to do is I want to bring Kinemon and Denjiro up here. Kinemon and Denjiro definitely got a much massive buff due to the fact that we are in a crazy ass slasher meta. I do want to bring Brook down because he's really just niche, and as you can see I've got him with this particular Brook. So he's a very niche character if you're looking for revive stuff. This particular Luffy, honestly, like he's just like dropped off the goddamn planet. I don't even think I would put him in like a... I'd probably just put him here in bloody support. Like you're really never going to use Luffy because like there's just so many other characters. Next we've got Wako. Wako I'm going to put in a Grand Voyage Master with the release of the Grand Voyage against Smoker, needing Psy fighter characters, I believe. He just became really good. I'm going to put Jumanji up here in Grand Voyage option. Very, very good option for the Arlong Park Grand Voyage. Next, we have the 6+ of Luffy and Ace. I noticed all the way down here that this character needs to come up. Honestly, I thought you were never going to use this unit. I was completely wrong. They are an exceptional character and definitely a super sub. Next, we've got this particular lore is going to come straight off the tier list because he is basically... I'll put him in Grand Voyage Master, but like we've got a 6+ lore that we're going to talk about today, so... definitely going to bring him there. Next, we've got Bardo Cavendish. We can bring you down to Grand Voyage, PvP Beta. I'm going to bring Kuma down to PvP Beta as well. Like, definitely not a great unit to be running nowadays. Still one of the high echelon strength characters, but compared to some of the others. I'm going to bring Smoothie up into Ultra because Smoothie's just so good on that quick slasher team that you guys have been seeing. Dofi's going to come down because that slasher team has completely evolved away from defense and just become pure offense. Kid, honestly, Kid's so close to getting moved down. Orochi and Shiki are definitely going to get moved down, though, because there's just so many better options. So many better options. This Kaido, obviously, is going to get replaced as well with the new 6+ Kaido. Oh, I forgot to add him to the tier list, but that's okay. We'll fix that up later. Perispero, honestly, I'm going to bring Perispero down to niche, because, like, look, honestly... Since Perispero's release, I've never used the character, so, like, I think I just, like, this hurts, because, like, he's so good on paper. Like, he's so good on paper. But look, it is what it is. That's why it's called an endgame tier list, I suppose. I kind of want to bring the niche category down, because I feel like the PvP Ultra category is just more... It's just better. It's just better. Shank's Buggy, I'm going to definitely move up into super subs. They are fantastic underneath Gear 5. Like a fantastic unit. The 6+, that is. What else have we got here? This Kaido has definitely seen his time, but I'm going to leave him up here in Amazing still. The Strength Kaido. This Kaido right here. I'm going to bring Momo up into Meta because Slashes are just going berserk at the moment. And then I'm going to bring all three of these characters down. Now, Jack and King at one point were exceptional, but nowadays, with their new buff that they gave them, or the nerf that they received because of how they're meant to work, apparently, the characters just aren't nearly as good anymore. Like, it's just, it is what it is. It's a bit of a shame, but they're still amazing, but it is what it is. Odin and Toki, they're going to go up into meta. Odin and Toki have been fantastic on my Super Boss teams this season. They are just terrific characters. Blackbeard, I'm going to bring him down into Amazing. I think he's so good, but Powerhouse are just missing some stuff. They're still good, but like they're still missing some stuff. And Robin's up here because like you can only really do some crazy stuff with these characters. The Straw Hat Crew V2 has definitely fallen off something fierce, and I think looking at it like this is pretty good. I'm pretty happy with everything that's going on now. Yeah. In terms of damage, these three characters are still massive. Verse Yamato's great. K-Dad obviously got a lot better with Zoro Sanji's release. Anything that's free spirit and slasher is crazy. I'm going to leave the Utas up here because I feel like with the new stacking attack buff that Lilith brings, like we could see some really fun stuff there. Treasure map speedsters, these are all really good treasure map wave clearers and fast characters for particular reasons. The niche category, anyone here that needs to move up. I could probably see Robin Koala moving up. Like, Robin Koala is actually quite good. Been using Robin Koala quite a bit. As for everything else, I think that we're pretty honky-dory. Awesome. All right, let's quickly start it off. I'm not going to break down exactly what every single character does, because, well, we would be here forever. But let's kick it. First, we have Uta. This Uta, honestly, is so good. I haven't used her since I got her, but she's incredible. The Captain Swap mechanic, getting around crazy amounts of special bind. She's a free spirit unit. She's Psy. She has very good colors, very good classes. She is very, very good. And if you partner her up with the Anniversary Shanks, man, you can do some really, really crazy stuff with all the special bind removal, special reverse removal. She is an amazing, amazing character. Next, we got Kizaru and Fuji. Definitely got a massive buff now that we are in a slasher meta. And obviously, hitting crits with Roger and Odin as your captain allows you to get resistance. But Kizaru Fuji, for me, they're only ever going to be used as a sub. You're never going to use their final tap, but most of the time you're going to be using stuff like Kinden or Odin and Toki over them. That doesn't mean that they're a bad unit. It just means that, like, that crit sort of hasn't popped off. Carrot Wanda, I'm definitely going to move down to Super Sub as well. This Luffy is so close to moving down too, but I think this Luffy's great. AC Yamato I'm going to bring up as well because we were looking at using them for their like conditional and their chain boundary and all that fun stuff too. So they did see some promise this particular super boss as well. Next we have 6 plus to Zoro. 6 plus to Zoro, he's pretty interesting in regular content if you build out the team. You can do some really, really cool stuff in Treasure Map with this unit. He's a fantastic Treasure Map character, but most of the time you're going to use him in PvP. As an endgame player, you're only ever going to use him really like in PvP. But for the sake of the tier list, I'm going to do this because he's so good in these 2 game modes. As a sub, he's fantastic, but like I said, most of the time you're going to be using him in PvP. Keep 2 copies for Grand Voyage too, by the way, because you can actually run him across multiple teams with Quick being so good, now with Momo and all that fun stuff. And then you can do some really cool stuff with Driven and whatnot too. Nami and Karina! Nami and Karina are going to fly all the way into the top 10. Whereabouts I'm going to put them, I'm going to do the top 10 at the end. I'm going to shuffle characters around. But for me, Nami and Karina are a top 10 character. They're amazing in Treasure Map for duping drops. They are one of the best PvP characters for defense and offense. They have one of the most unique specials because you get 2 variants, removing barriers and damage reduction, and then defense up and threshold. You can have an attack boost, you can have an orb boost, so they're both overrideable. You get damage reduction yourself, you get threshold yourself. You just have a lot with this particular character. Plus, there are Nami and a Karina. There's paralysis removal, I believe, as well as another utility, special reverse, I believe. There's 2 turns of cooldown there. So, very, very good character, and a limit break ability that allows them to basically start with their special. Every single Treasure Map, no matter where you use them, they're going to start with their special. They're going to always be boosted in Treasure Map, and they're a fantastic limited legend. Hopefully, you guys pick them up because they are absolutely fantastic. Next, we've got Ayn. Ayn, honestly, in my opinion, you're never going to use Ayn as an endgame player. She's whatever. She's cool, but whatever. Same as Zeph. Zeph 6 plus. Zeph 6 plus is very good. Don't get me wrong. These 2 characters are good. It's just like a Perispera and Izo situation. You're never going to use them. Like it's just it is what it is. Ayn's up there, but like if you compare her to Ben Beckman and Lucky Roo, like you're always going to run Ben Beckman and Lucky Roo like all the time. Next we've got Anniversary Shanks, and honestly, like when we first had the celebration of the 9.5 anniversary, I was under the impression that we were going to see a lot more play with this particular Shanks. He is still amazing. Like he is a fantastic character. The chain boundary ability, the all buff he provides, tandem orbs, all that fun stuff. He's very, very good for side teams, and he's a demon in PvP. Like a fantastic PvP character. Plus, he just works great in Grand Voyage. You're going to absolutely clap the local sea monster, even though it's already like completely destroyed. But he's a terrific unit there. But the Luffy that came alongside him, the Anniversary Luffy. Now, on paper, I didn't love this Luffy, but obviously with everything that's going on nowadays with Yamato and the increased damage taken, and Luffy being a Luffy character for the super tandem of Zoro and Sanji, this particular character for me is like borderline top 10. Also, this unit is probably, if not the best PvP unit in the game. It's crazy what he does. Gear 5, 6+ for me is better because of these Grand Voyage stuff, but this Anniversary Luffy, man, he is a demon. I'm using him in this Super Boss as well on my 1 trillion team. So he shows his prowess in big damage teams. Having the name Luffy is his biggest strength and his biggest downfall at the same time. But if you can't use this guy, this is going to be your next best option. And honestly, for that reason, he might be meta. But right now, for how good he is in PvP, it is carrying him in the top 10. Let's scroll on down now to Katakuri and Oven. You're never going to use this unit. Unfortunately, it is what it is. And shout out to the King who loves Katakuri, but you're never going to use him, so it's just unfortunate. Next, you've got 6+ Stampede Luffy. I can see him being a Grand Voyage option for Smoker, but he's just a really, really good character. For me, most of the place that I'm going to use him is in Treasure Map. I think he's going to be a fantastic Treasure Map unit. Paralysis removal, Despair removal as captain. He special removes attack down. You can just give yourself an attack boost, an all boost, and a base stat boost. And it just allows you to just destroy bosses along the way on the minimap. So he's definitely going to be a Treasure Map beast for most people moving forward. Kobe's an interesting character. When I read Kobe, it like my team building brain went absolutely ballistic. But honestly, since I've looked at him, I've never really had a chance of actually using the character. He has a very niche ability where you can swap characters into the captain, anyone that you like, for 1 turn, and then he removes Threshold. He gives color affinity buff and stuff like that. But for me, he just has missed the mark. In PvP though, he's a bloody demon. Honestly, I totally forgot how good he is in PvP. Actually, this Kobe in PvP is a monster on the strength team. So I'm going to put him up here in PvP Ultra because if you have him, most of the time, you are going to run him on your strength team, especially alongside Anniversary Luffy, man. Holy crap. You get so much cooldown, 30% reduction, and a haste ability. Next, we've got Quick Momo and Hiyori. Quick Momo has shown his absolute disgusting nature. If you have this character right now, be very, very happy. He's been fantastic in basically every piece of content we've had since he's come out, but he hasn't been on a single banner except for his own, which does my head in. But with the slasher meta running absolutely right now, he's a chain boundary unit for the Roger and Odin team with all of the final tap shenanigans going on. He is an absolute demon of a unit and a very, very powerful character. He works alongside the Quick Hiyori that came alongside him, but he is just a monster, not only for Rodin teams, but because he triggers the Zoro Sanji Super Tandem, he's just an absolute crazy powerhouse. But unfortunately, Hiyori, I did pull Hiyori off a ticket. She kind of misses the mark. She is a very good character because she can give an attack boost and an orb boost, attack down utility, despair in her captain, healing. She can be very, very good, and she has a carryover ability for attack and orb boost. And she's a free spirit slasher, so she kind of fits into the meta at the moment. But most of the time, you'll probably be running something like Law, you'll be running something like this Luffy, because you just don't have copies of this particular Hiyori. I'm using her as a super sub. I think she's a fantastic unit as a sub, but you could use her as a captain as well, because she has the ability, like I said, to override attack and orb boost, and then you can get a carryover effect for the next turn. So if you're using something like Zoro Sanji, or using something like Momo as a captain, you can have that overrideable ability for then the next turn to get an attack and orb boost. You can also do this with Roger and Odin, and it's a very, very good combination. Plus, she triggers both Super Tandem and the Super EX of Roger and Odin and Zoro Sanji, who are two of the best characters in the game right now. Moving back down, we have Raizo and Shinobu, and shout out to my homie Mr. J and Pyro. I know you guys are watching this, and I know you guys are saying, Stump! Put him there! PvP Ultra. Honestly, top 10 best PvP unit in my opinion. Not just for the shooter team, but on any rainbow team at all. You chuck this unit on there and you are absolutely cooking. You are going to the goddamn fucking moon. That unit's so good. The action binding, the 2000 fixed damage, it's just, they're so good. If you pull them on PvP banner, we're very, very happy. Next, we've got Green Bull. Honestly, Green Bull's so close to never going to use that it kind of depresses me a little bit. But I do think he's actually pretty good. He has that ability to turn everyone into quick units, so then you have type advantage, and then he's an orb booster, gives you dex orbs, and then he makes the dex orbs matching. He's a wave clear unit too for treasure maps, so you can do some fun stuff there. But in PvP, he's actually really, really good. He has a 50% HP cut, which could definitely do some really, really nasty stuff. But just looking at the kit of the character, I don't really see where you're going to use him all that often. Next, we've got Otama. Otama's another one that kind of misses the mark. I don't feel like you're ever going to use Otama, but I feel like she's a very good character. She works kind of alongside Big Mom, the Super Sugo Big Mom, as Big Mom allows you to double stack conditionals. This Otama is a powerhouse character, and then she also has the ability to give a self-proc and conditional booster. So I'm going to put up her in niche, just because of that reasoning, and I do think she does have the potential to be quite good, but we just haven't really seen that situation as of yet. Next, we've got Shanks, 6+ Shanks, the Wi-Fi Shanks, an absolute demon in PvP at nerfing Psy teams, which is very, very good, because Psy teams at the moment are very, very strong. But the unit is actually still very, very good himself. He's going to see a lot of play for a lot of people that need attack boosts that can carry them over, and honestly, in my opinion, he's just better than like these characters here. Queen's still quite good, Alba's still quite good. I feel like this Kaido's definitely dropped off, and so is the Jack. But in terms of like regular legends, I can see him being just as good as this Queen and this Jack nowadays. He can give, as a captain as well, he can give you an extension of an attack boost, a base stat, and a chain boost, and he's a speed captain as well. Very, very powerful character, and he can just basically be your captain for any color-based team. So if you need an attack boost for a quick team and you're running 4 quick units, you can just chuck him on the team. He's going to be your attack booster. He's going to be your base stat booster. He's going to be your chain booster. He's just going to be very, very good for stuff like PKA and content that will either blow away your attack boost and stuff, or where you need to carry buffs into the next stage, because he's a very, very big attack boost and a very, very big chain boost for basically every color that you need for every situation. Next, we're up to the good stuff. Over here with the 3 new legends for the anniversary. There should be another legend in here that I need to add, and then we're going to add Kaido. So let's quickly do that. Alright, so as I mentioned, I'm not going to include Lilith. I'm not going to include Bonnie, because they have some new buffs that I haven't dove into yet, just because of Super Boss right now. So let's take a look at the news legends. Roger and Odin, another Rush character. Any Rush character, in my opinion, is just a character that's going to go straight to the top. With the Rush ability, there's very little units that can do it, and the units that can just provide so much extra damage to your team. When you are doing big damage teams, you need to basically look at it and go, alright, where's my Rush coming from? Is it coming from Sanji? Is it coming from Gear 5? Is it coming from Kaido? Or is it coming from Roger? And obviously, when more of this gets added to the game, we're going to start prioritize which Rush is better than what. But Roger and Odin, for that reason, in terms of big damage teams, they have to go in the top 10 for me. In Treasure Map, they have a 1.5 million fixed damage, so whenever they're boosted and they can get their cooldowns, you're going to use them on like mini boss stages to just wipe away stuff. You can use them on like wave clearing stages. They're very fast. I actually used them last Treasure Map to just literally wave clear. They're an attack booster, they're an ore booster as well, so you can do some fun stuff there. Plus, they have a 3-turn and an ability to blow away positive, the Red Haki ability. So that ability alone is like unmatched, and that's why Roger is still so goddamn good. Not only that, but there are demons in PvP, and their Grand Party is so freaking good. Honestly, for me, they're above the Rush Kaido. If you're building out like quick damage teams nowadays, like this unit is like a must-have character. Like he's just they're so good across the big 3 game modes. They are so good, and then in PK obviously as well, where like if you're moving into the final stage and you need to keep buffs and blow away positive effects is a problem, they're going to be your go-to. Plus, they completely removed Despair, so they've got utility as well. Not that Despair's anything like too crazy, but like they're still just a fantastic character in that regard. Next, we have Yamato. Yamato did get the shorter end of the stick from this celebration. On paper, when all the information dropped, I loved what Yamato was doing. Like I was a huge fan. Massive speed captain, arena god, big damage demon. Like this unit for big damage teams is so good. As a captain, she can remove bind, which is awesome, just like Luffy Yamato, but in my opinion, she doesn't really crack this top 10 echelons. And the big reason that she doesn't for me is because Treasure Map, she's not that crazy good. Getting additional damage taken by 1.5 as a minimum is great. But if she's going to be in the top 10 or anywhere near the top 10, she's going to be at like that cutoff point. Treasure Map, she doesn't see too much play, or she won't see too much crazy play. PvP, she's okay, but like she does need a little bit more support there in terms of like being on a quick slasher or a deck slasher team, and then not buffing herself in that regard is a bit of a problem. But she's still very, very good. And when it comes to damage output, she has like the best final tap in the game. This unit was the best final tap, but now this unit is just a better version of this final tap. And my big damage team at the moment, yes, she's boosted and all that fun stuff too, but she's doing like 880 billion damage just with herself and without getting 2 conditional boosts. So she'll definitely be able to crack the trillion echelons. She's going to be in the mark for all of those big damage teams, and she's definitely in the meta because Slashers are just dominating right now. With Slashers comes the real reason that Slashers are dominating. Same with Free Spirit, but Free Spirit will always there, and that's Zoro and Sanji. Zoro and Sanji have the ability to make every unit a Free Spirit and a Slasher. Now, if you're just Zoro too, by the way, you can turn everyone's second class into Slashers. So you can get everyone into that Slasher tag anyway, and then that allows you to use the rush of Rodin. So that way you can actually get a level 5 rush. However, the big problem with this particular character is their names are Zoro and Sanji. Zoro and Sanji being very, very good characters already means that you actually can't use this character on the team. However, as a captain, they're still a 6x captain. They're a super EX for Free Spirit and Slashers, which they make everyone into. They are the craziest when it comes to the echelons of chain shenanigans. 2.0 chain boost, which is the highest in the game besides Nami when you get the paralysis off, and a 1.75 chain multiplicative on top of a super swap that can give 2.25 times attack and orbs, a special that can increase it by 0.5, and defense up and threshold removal. On top of that, as a captain, they have fear removal built into their kit, which is the only character that can do it. For me, they are the 3rd best character in the game. Honestly, they are so close to being number 1. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, this unit brings so goddamn much to the game. In PvP, they are so disgustingly good for the Slasher team. Free Spirit, Slasher, literally the only thing that's letting them down for me is the fact that their name is Zoro and Sanji. This guy's rush obviously is like one of the ones you want to use for strength, dex, and quick, so trying to find a way to get them both on the team can be a little bit challenging, but that's why the friend captain system exists, and then you have some fun stuff there. Their super tandems are very, very strong too. 2.75 times orbs, getting a full board of tandem orbs as well is great, but the one thing that I dislike about their super tandem is that you do need to have a Luffy or you need to have a Yamato in the team, in the chain, to activate it, and that is a huge problem when it comes to damage. However, the amount of damage they provide for 1 trillion damage teams is disgusting. For Treasury Map, they're going to be very, very good because they can obviously change classes, they can remove defense up, they can remove threshold however you like, and honestly, for me, they're so good. Yeah, I'm going to do it. I'm going to put them as the best character in the game. I just think that they provide so much, and they allow this unit to go crazy. Like, at the moment, like, this unit is crazy. It's wild what they're doing. Changing classes is phenomenal. The fact that you can run, we did a 1 trillion 1 team versus all for the 3-star Kasuna, and we had Kaido on a Gear 5 team, and the fact that you could just change him into a Free Spirit Slasher is just, it's phenomenal. Like, it's so damn good. However, if you guys have this going, however order you guys have these 3, like, I'm not going to argue really with you, but like, this unit is a top 3 unit, in my opinion. I think they're going to be one of the best units moving forward, or if not the best unit in my opinion. Let's scroll on down, and let's see what else we've got cooking here. There was a free-to-play legend, in inverted commas, because it's an exchange ace. If you head over to any of the exchanges, you can pick up this particular character for an incredibly hefty margin, I may add, and if you do max out the character, he's very, very good. He has the ability to double stack conditional boosts, which is very rare in the game because only 2 other characters can do it. And for that reason, I'm going to put him alongside those other 2 characters. Do I think he's as good as those other 2 characters? No, I do not. I think this ace is nowhere near what Robin and Big Mom are doing. Ace cuts your HP by 95%, which is the biggest problem to the unit. On top of the fact that he's beyond expensive, and you have to literally sell a kidney, an arm, and a leg to get all the copies of the character, and then max him out. Once you do that, he's cool, he's got a final tab, he's got a Super EX, he's got all that fun stuff, but the big draw to the character is the self-proccing conditional booster that allows you to double stack. The problem is, as I mentioned, is you do need to have a unit that can heal back, and obviously the requirements for his Super EX and stuff like that. For me, I'm going to put him at the back end of an amazing. I just don't ever see why you wouldn't run Robin when Zoro Sanji can turn everything into Free Spirits and Slashes, and if you are running them as a captain, you can just use Big Mom because Zoro is a driven character. So, like, you're never going to have any problems, like, at all. So, pick up 1 copy of Ace, super evolve him, leave him at that. Like, that's what I'd recommend for, like, 99.9% of the player base. If you have an abundance of materials and you want to go absolutely crazy for no goddamn reason, go Rainbow at your Ace and do all that fun stuff, because he's there. Moving on down now, we did get a Treasure Map Legend, and honestly, I was talking to Papi about this. I believe that we're probably going to get a Treasure Map Legend for every single treasure map moving forward. Onsen Luffy, very interesting character, has a self-proccing conditional boost in his super type or super class. Super type, I believe. You can get like 18 turns of special bind removal with this character. Auto procs when you're below 30%, and that does seem kind of good on paper. In Grand Voyage, this character is very, very good. He's an attack booster, he's a color affinity booster, and he can do some really, really fun stuff there. In my opinion, he's probably on par with the Red Rock Luffy 6+, and what he's actually doing, but the utility of having him be either an attack booster or a color affinity booster does carry this character, plus the fact that he's a self-proccing conditional boost too is actually quite nice. But he's just there. Very, very good character, just not one that's like super, super crazy. And he's another Luffy, which kind of makes it really hard to say go for gold with this unit, because most of the time you're going to be running like Luffy Yamato or Anniversary Luffy or something like Gear 5. Next we got 6+ lore. Honestly, on paper I was like, this lore kind of sucks, man. I was not impressed with this character. But then after seeing what he did in the Super Boss, man, he's good. He's a really good unit. Plus, he works so good alongside this particular Yamato. And the reason that is I completely misread Yamato's kit. Yamato can give herself 3 turns of cooldown whenever she's a captain, which is fantastic for speed teams, as long as a striker or slasher uses their special. But lore can apply a 1.5 times additional damage taken that goes through full immunity. If you're using Yamato and the enemy has additional damage taken, Yamato is going to increase it to 2.25, give herself the color affinity buff, and then increase that as well. So lore underneath Yamato is insane. Plus, if your friend captain has a tandem orb, you can actually get a extra 0.5 to your super type, which Yamato actually is. So the two of these characters together, and then alongside Zoro Sanji, is fantastic. Plus, his final tap goes up to a 3.25 conditional boost against defense down, and against the latest super boss, this was just going ballistic. Like, it was disgustingly good. That ability too will go through resilience, which makes him very, very good, and honestly has become up there in like your top 5 best final taps in the game. I'd probably say you have Yamato's as number 1, you got K-Dad's and the Anniversary Luffy at number 2. You'd be looking at like the Straw Hat Krooby 2 up there as well, and then lore, like he's talking that sort of echelons of top 5 best final taps in the game because of this ability, and the fact that we didn't have a conditional boost in the Super Boss is what's carrying him here. For big damage teams, he's going to see the most play. He can heal. He's nice and chunky in regular content, but because Slash is just so good right now, like I kind of just have to put him in meta. Like he's really good. He's a really, really good unit, and if you had him level 5 or had him maxed out for this Super Boss, you're in for a really, really good time. Finally, we've got Kaido, the 6+ quick Kaido. Now, you guys know I can't stand 6-star quick Kaido. However, this guy seems pretty good, and I'm going to put him up here in PvP Ultra, basically where the last one was. I think the last one was in PvP Beta now. Yeah, there he is right there. The reason I'm going to put him up here in PvP Ultra is because he does so much work against Strength. He has the ability to special bind, and Strength being like the best team in the game right now, this unit is like a shoe-in on like your anti-Strength sort of meta team. So if you guys have him 6+, most of the time as an endgame player, you're going to see him on PvP, but you can do some interesting stuff with his ability to give yourself a conditional boost against additional damage taken, which he can do as long as you take 10,000 damage. I haven't really tested the unit in regular play yet. I have tested him in PvP, and he's very, very good. So for now, I'm going to put him in PvP Ultra, because I feel like a good 6+ is always going to see play heavier in PvP than anywhere else. But as for the tier list, it's going to look a little bit like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9! 10. The top 10 looks a little bit like this. Yamato will just scrape her way in. This Luffy makes her like so good, and then obviously you can do some really cool stuff with these two in regular play. But the top 10 and the top echelons is going to look a little bit like this. Zoro Sanji, in my opinion, are going to be the best character in the game. Gear 5, 6+ is right on their tail though. Like I would not hold it against you if you said that this Gear 5 was better. I wouldn't hold it against you if you said this Gear 5 was better, but I do think that these 3 characters are the top 3 characters in the game. Nami's not too far behind. Rush Sanji showed his worth in Super Boss once again. Fantastic PvP character. Nami, honestly, probably is starting to fall off because they just keep nerfing her into the ground, man. But Sanji, he's still really good. He just has the problem being with Zoro Sanji being a thing now. Roger and Odin, fantastic in PvP, treasure map, and Super Boss right now being a rush. These two being rush characters is carrying them. Kaido getting through barriers, burn, all that fun stuff is crazy. Nami Karina, Treasure Map God, PvP Demon. Anniversary Luffy being a fantastic Final Tap character as well as a crazy PvP character. And then Yamato being just an insane speed demon in regular content on top of her utility and her big damage for Super Boss is going to put her in the top 10. As for everything else, in no particular order, we have these characters here. These are all very, very good characters, and if you have them, I would definitely max them out. You've got your big damage dealers, you've got your utility gods, you've got your EXP, and again, like super sub situation, and then you've got Zoro. Like, Zoro for me would just be like so close to being in the top 10 as another very, very powerful character. He's like the second best Super 10 in the game. But again, he sort of suffers because this character exists, and Sanji being the rush unit just makes him that good. But that's going to wrap up the endgame tier list for the start of 2024. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure to go to that bell like button, hit the subscribe button, do all that good stuff. Most importantly, wherever you guys are in this beautiful world, please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, homies, thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Later!